this meeting to order, and if you will, please stand. We have, we're short one of our councilmen, that's Mr. Buddy Fowler, but he's at the doctor with his wife. Medicine straightened out, so they're working on that, so I hope that they can get that done. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for everything that you have given us. We thank you for this land of freedom that we have. We thank you for protecting our servicemen as they provide this freedom that we have each and every day. We thank you for the holidays that we have coming up. We ask that you look at after everyone that's traveling during the holidays, see them safely to and from where they're going. And also, dear Lord, be with Buddy and Lene. Help the doctors to find what's wrong with her and get her adjusted to where she can have a wonderful holiday. Dear Heavenly Father, I ask that you be with all the citizens of Surf City, and if they are having troubles, then please put your hand on them. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
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 Okay, Don, will you lead us in a pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mess me up.
I missed you. You gonna learn it one day?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the reason I don't like to do it.
I'll start singing Star Spangled Banner or something.
You will?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, well, we'll go along with that now.
Yeah.
Won't we, Jeremy? If she wants to sing the Star Spangled Banner, I guarantee you she can do it.
100%.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, we got introductions and welcome, and I don't know, well, we got one visitor with us. We appreciate you being here. But anyway, rest out of it is, no, two visitors. Sorry, we got two visitors with us. And rest of them were employees, but and I appreciate all the work that the employees do, and I appreciate them being here when we have these meetings. And we've got right much stuff on the agenda. And first of all, we got annexation request. And is that yours?
Yes, I was trying to get it on the.
Okay.
So this is Michael Ellis with Topsail Tide LLC, and he's actually got 3 parcels. The first is on Highway 210, and that's the part that's currently being cleared that he'd like to annex in. So we need to have consensus that we can move forward with investigating that and add it to public hearing for January.
Okay.
I make a motion that she investigates that and put it on the December agenda,
Okay.
January agenda.
Yeah. Give her
I'll
a little
second.
time. Yeah. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. Motion carried.
The next one is 2 properties next to each other on Highway 50. That same thing, same owner, same company that wants to annex in.
Okay.
I make a motion, we, same with that as we did with the first one.
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. You raising it, Jeremy?
Yes, sir. Aye.
Okay. All right. The third one?
We just did those 2 together.
Oh, just those two. That's right. There's 3 lots, but 2 of them together. Okay. All right. Street numbering ordinance amendment. She's coming.
Good morning, how are you?
Ryan, how about
Morning.
yourself?
I'm doing great. I am well caffeinated. So in August of 2019, the town revised the existing owners to purchase numbers from requiring 7-inch characters, which were only carried at the Ace Hardware that used to be in town to 6-inch characters. That was to keep it in line with the state building code. Well, during that process, the state building code changed to 4 inches, but it didn't quite get put in our ordinance because it kind of overlapped. So at this time, we would like to come into coordination with the state building code and have 4-inch characters as well. The 6-inch characters are also very hard to find and are not the common size number that are sold. So to make it easier for our residents and staff, we would like to change it to 4-inch numbers. That will also be consistent with the ocean side, because the ocean side requires 4 inches on the green placards. So we have the change in section A that changes it to the 4-inch height, and then we have a few clarifications in the section B when we talk about the reflective green aluminum placards. We have added that the numbers shall be reflective. And there was also a question, we had said 18 inches by 6 inches in size for the placards. That allowed for 4 4-inch numbers. But when you have an A, that makes 5 4-inch numbers, and people don't know what to do. So we have reworded that so that the length will accommodate the number of characters you have. So if you only have 3, you could do a slightly shorter. If you have 5, you can do the longer. So that is the basic change in this. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, I do.
Yes, sir.
I would rather for us to, if it's not gonna cause a terrific problem, I would rather for us to stay with the 6-inch numbers for the simple reason, emergency personnel can see them better.
They're harder to find. They're not necessarily carried locally. We have a lot of 4-inch out there. And that's why we were changing it to match the building code. We've also added, one of the things that we were having a lot of trouble with before too is contrasting color. So making sure that they're a black on white or hot pink on brown, something that stands out, because we had a lot of our 6-inch ones were the wooden ones put on wooden piles, and you couldn't see them. So adding the contrasting color.
We had to paint them.
Yes, we've added the contrasting color in the last update as well to make those show up better.
Well, I'll be fair with you. Without a standard place to put them, then they are hard to see. Because, you know, some of them have them down on the post down here, some of them have across the top, some have them on the left-hand side, some have them on the right-hand side. So unless you drive 5 miles an hour down the street, it's tough to find the house numbers.
We have,
And of course, I think probably doesn't emergency services use GPS now?
y'all use the house numbers that often? So we have a standardized place to put them on the beach side. We do not have a standardized place to put them on the road side.
We need to come up with I'm like Doug and these guys in the fire department, police department, fire department, they ought to be able to look at a house and say, hey, that number's supposed to be there at a certain particular place. It being on the left side, right side, over the door or whatever, we need to standardize that also. Because it's a problem for people that's fire and police. Well, it's not so much for fire. If the house is on fire, you can pretty well figure that out. But it's harder for the police department, especially in the middle of the night.
So we can certainly look into that. I know Waterside is putting theirs all on the framing around the garage. They are consistent in there. I believe Magnolia Reserve, I believe each subdivision on the newer subdivisions are trying to have a consistent place, you know, within that subdivision so that their subdivision looks uniform. I think the issue is probably more on the island where they're kind of random and different and whatnot. So We can definitely look into adding, prior to bringing this back, a location.
Well, I know over in our residence, they're on the mailbox and they're supposed to be on. Jimmy, where's yours on your house? Mine's on my garage.
Yeah, mine's on my garage too, I think. Yeah.
And that's because it faces the road, the way the road's shaped. When you turn on the Bunchberry, mine's right
Yeah.
there on the right. But
And Magnolia Reserve and Waterside do not have mailboxes. They have mail kiosks that are separate. So theirs are consistent. On the island, you have a lot less mailboxes as well.
Yeah.
So that leads to some of the issue. We will look into it and bring something back before the next meeting.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. All right, we have committee reappointments, Shoreline and Resilience. We have two appointments. They're both reappointments. David Ward, who is chairman, is up for appointment again, and Kathy Medlin. Do I have a motion to reappoint those two?
I'll make a motion to reappoint those two.
I'll second.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay. All right, police donation. Who's handling that?
Good morning, Mr. Mayor and
Morning.
council. The budget ordinance amendment in front of you is essentially taking funds that were brought in last year for the Shop with a Cop program and reallocating those for this year's budget for that program. So we just have to show the paper trail of identification of those funds. That's about
Okay.
all that there is to it.
And,
And we're just looking for a consensus to put this on the consent agenda for
is there consensus
December.
that they do that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right,
And if you haven't paid your dues, better get them paid.
I know, and by the way, if anybody's watching, the reason Kyle and I have a beard is because of the Shop with a Cop donation, and you might can't see the chief and the assistant, and Voorhees, but they got beards too, so, it's, all for a good reason.
I think that's
Might not be, it's not for good looks, it's just for,
that's the best
to raise
compliment I've
money.
heard. You called it a beard. I appreciate that.
yeah. I think you're doing pretty good. But, anyway, so, we have a motion to, do that. All right, Memorial Bench Program, BOA.
This is we have I guess not regularly, but we from time and time again, the Memorial Bench Program is certainly a popular program here in town. So as we have to purchase additional benches that weren't budgeted for, we have to move money over to allocate for that acquisition. However, there is a revenue side tied to this because when people purchase the bench, we're essentially recouping the cost with that. So it's just a accounting action that we need to take.
So we're basically just moving the money that's donated for the benches over into that program, right?
Just to show the funds for the acquisition of the benches that
Right.
you know
Okay.
we might not have budgeted for 20 benches per se this year and only budgeted for 10. So
Right, well,
this
but
isn't
we're not
simple.
buying the benches.
Yeah, we buy the benches, but the money comes
But
back.
the money, well, what I'm saying is, we were having a problem that people were saying that the town was buying all these benches. for
Oh,
different
yeah,
people
no.
And putting them out.
So
No,
we budget for 10 benches each year,
right,
and we've exceeded that. We've had people have donated money to exceed those 10 benches. I think we're actually sitting $575 is all we have left of the funds that were budgeted for. So now we have other requests, and we have people who have purchased or donated. I shouldn't say purchased. They've donated money for the benches. So now we've got to take some more money to appropriate it so that we can continue the program. We're honored with the people that are doing the donation, but there's been significant amount of people within our community who have unfortunately passed away. So we're really seeing an increase in the number. So we're wanting to go and try to be prepared if we continue, because we're only halfway through and we've already exceeded the number that we were budgeted for.
Right.
We do purchase one for the Flag Day that we do with the ceremony with the local heroes thing that we do each year. So that's one that we purchase, and if we have one in the park that's messed up, then we'll purchase it just ahead instead of waiting. But we do that off of our normal or out of our regular account. And if somebody decides they want to donate or put a plaque on there, then they pay for it, and we put that back into the memorial bench revenue. So then that's going to show an increase in the revenue. But obviously, it's just meant to break even, so we don't spend more than what we take in.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's the simplest way to put it.
Thank you, sir. All right. Administration.
Do you need a motion for that?
Just a consensus.
Okay.
Okay, administration.
Okay, so. Excuse me. The next budget ordinance amendment before you is to increase the administrative salary line item to accommodate some additional administrative support personnel for the remainder of the fiscal year. Be more than happy to answer any questions if council has any questions. This was discussed at our retreat 2 weeks ago.
Okay, do I have a consensus on that?
Yes.
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 Okay, from Jeremy. Okay. All right, resolution.
All right. Mr. McCole got off easy today.
Do what?
Mr. McCole got off easy today. So the resolution before you, and this is just to garner consensus, is a resolution necessary for our state revolving loan for the Headworks project. So that's a extremely low interest loan, but what the state wants to see is a resolution accepting that loan offer in the amount of 2.3 million approximately for that project. So the project is underway and is venture to say substantially complete. But again, this is a dotting the i's, crossing the t's form in which the state wants to see. So if you'd be so obliged to just give consensus on that, we will carry that over to the December meeting and get
Okay,
that
you
back
want
to
to
the
explain
state.
Headworks? So
Yeah,
somebody's
so
looking at it online.
absolutely. So the Headworks portion of the actual wastewater treatment plant is the first, essentially the first receiving mechanism in the wastewater treatment plant. So the town had looked at doing this project to replace that mechanism a couple of years ago. We were unable to move forward. It was right when Hurricane Florence had hit. So we rebid the project last year and actually awarded a contract for lesser money than the original project that the town was going to pursue. So in essence, first line of defense for a wastewater treatment plant, this is where the bar screen is and catches all the sticks and socks and other things that we routinely see. So very important project, and this will increase our resilience at our wastewater treatment plant.
Thank you, sir. Okay,
Yes.
Yes.
okay. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
All right, you have a consensus on that.
Thank you. I hope I did all right, Price. Good enough.
It was a little shaky.
All right, 2022 calendar. Anybody got a problem with the 2022 calendar? It's hard to tell this far ahead, isn't it? But anyway,
Well, we, I guess, just made a one adjustment. Carl, if you can remind me of that month that we looked at
It was April.
in
It
April.
normally would be the 15th, but that's Good Friday, I believe, so we moved it to the 22nd for that workshop.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, that,
That's it. This will just be your standard meeting calendar for
Yeah.
next year that we'll publish.
yeah, it's basically just the
Your
workshop
recurring.
and the regular meeting.
Yep. And I will add, just because I have the attention of council, but we'll be presenting our budget calendar to department heads right after Thanksgiving, which will start with capital improvement item requests, and then it'll spell out the specific work sessions to try and align with your adopted calendar for our budgetary reviews and when department heads will come in and talk to you about their individual budgets. So just starting to get into that season and, just some more additional meeting times potentially. So
Okay. All righty. All in agreement?
Yes.
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 Okay. Thank you. All righty. Street acceptance discussion. Who's doing that?
I'll be more than happy to introduce the item. We have our Facilities and Grounds Director, Chris Carter, and our Planning Director, Amy Kimes, here to elaborate on some of the efforts in which we've collectively been working on. So essentially, we were tasked with kind of looking at the town standards in which we would like to see either public or private streets be designed to and constructed within town. So what we looked at was how can we provide some additional language for disclaimers for private streets being maintained by an HOA. How can we have standardized processes and forms that are submitted from the certifying engineer for certain roads and potentially drainage structures. So what we did was looked at some examples to utilize. And right now, the town allows private streets, but we don't have anything in the ordinance that can essentially effectuate ordinance enforcement within those areas. So the first part of that would be a simple addition to our town code to require private streets to be offered for public purpose. And we feel confident that that will keep us having the tools that we need to enforce our ordinances within private streets. The second part of the process is to include some additional standardized forms and guidance for developers to follow when they're going through this process. And that includes a narrative in which the certifying engineer would submit that is essentially certifying the drainage and roadway standards for the road that's being constructed. And then also a checklist in which the developer engineer is going to utilize that provides the guidance for the core testing, for the ABC compaction, asphalt compaction, certifications coming from the actual asphalt plant for the material being used for the roadways. So we are presenting this in hopes that we can move forward and codifying these requirements and making these minor adjustments so that there's additional consistency with roadway review and potential presentation for council in looking at taking over any potential street. So I'll offer it to staff to add in anything that you may feel relevant, and then of course answer questions from council on this.
Did we cover, I'm looking at you, Amy, you know I am. Did we cover all the bases I don't think there's any way that we can cover where we know without a shadow of a doubt that something won't happen, but we did do something to make these engineers having to put their stamp on it. And so when these contractors walk away, that the homeowners or the people in the HOA ain't stuck with a enormous bill.
Yes, sir. We were requiring an engineer certification where they certify that they have reviewed the documentation and that someone has witnessed the installation. An example of that right now is in Waterside. I'm getting ready to look at a map revision on their final plat that allows for additional drainage because of some of the issues out there. So they're actually cameraing the pipes and looking at those things. The engineer has refused to sign off on some of the drainage out there because of the issues. But that certification is having to be on there. That's his license, and he's taking it seriously. So I think by requiring this, it's putting them in the hot seat instead of the contractor being able to walk off at the end. Because
Well,
if
that's
that's
the
not,
problem we had in the past is that when they get ready to walk off, they just walk off, and the homeowners and the homeowners association is stuck with this bill. Well, that's not fair. He's the one that's putting the money in his pocket, and these people bought a home out there, then they don't know that there's problems out there with drainage or the roads or whatever. And then they get stuck with a enormous bill for all this. That's not the way we do business.
so the engineer certification has been included. I think that it was previously included. I think that it's being taken much more seriously in the past few years than it may have been 10 or 15 years ago within the engineering community themselves.
Okay, thank you. And what we're doing is just trying to make sure we don't have roads breaking down right after somebody moves in to a new development.
To make sure that we're only experiencing normal wear and tear and not failure based on construction.
Right. There you go. Good wording.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy.
Yes, sir.
And Chris, thank you.
And just a reminder, Ms. Kynes will need to bring this to the planning board
Right.
for some of the text amendment changes. We can move forward with the private streets for public purpose through an ordinance revision. So we'll go ahead and move as fast as we can on the things that don't have to go to planning board. So we'll carry that forward to you at your next meeting.
All right. Okay. Do you have anything else?
No, sir. We got tree lighting on, tomorrow afternoon at 3:00. So I know staff has been working extremely hard over the last couple of weeks to get the park ready. And not only the park, but our annual electrical pole light installation. So, I appreciate all that hard work from staff because I know it takes a lot of their time from their normal day-to-day duties. So that's about all I got.
And when we do the Christmas stuff, it's sort of I know usually most of it lays on the utility departments. But, at this time of year, everybody joins in. Even the town staff here joins in and decorating and all that stuff. So we appreciate that. And we do invite everybody that can to come out to the Christmas tree lighting. Saturday, we're going to have some good music and a beautiful tree to light. So. And if you noticed it, the walkways are all lit. They look pretty. Just a beautiful time of year. All right.
Do you need a motion to adjourn?
Do y'all want to say anything?
Oh, I just hope everybody has a wonderful weekend and a wonderful holiday and a wonderful Thanksgiving. And please come to the Christmas tree lighting. You'll enjoy it.
Okay. Teresa?
Yeah, let's just and keep encouraging all the citizens and our representatives to attend the December council meeting for the Army Corps project.
Right. That ought to be an interesting meeting.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, Jeremy?
Oh, thank you for allowing me to join by video, and I will see you guys tomorrow night at the Christmas tree lighting.
Okay. All righty. Well, like I say, I guess y'all know about the Christmas tree lighting tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think everybody got that across. And then the December regular town meeting. So I think those are two important things that are coming up. And I know this is a busy time of year, so just be safe as you travel and move around. So just have a good one. And other than that, I appreciate all the work the town is doing. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, we are adjourned. Didn't take long. You can